Wow, you were charging that up for a whole week.
I know, right?
That reminds me of that one arc in Dragon Ball where he had to hold his son, like the spirit orb for
Spirit
like,
bomb.
yeah, for like.
I was trying to have my hair a little bit messier for it, but my hair doesn't stick up as well as it used to. Like, this is the best I can kind of get. Where the fuck did my comb go? I'll have to fix this as I go. That's gonna be an awful one that we try to do our first audio recording of this as well at the same time.
Well, what do you
For visual
mean?
watchers, have fun with that. For first time maybe audio listeners, welcome.
You know, I love how we constantly are like audio podcast. Yeah.
Hey, I have a recording right now. I'm looking at the wavelengths.
I bet they look wavy. You know, well, not. I bet they look more needly than anything, but they can be wavy.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. So
I think I need to turn you up just a touch.
Probably a bit. I always have you way turned down whenever we're doing the podcast.
Well, that's fair. I have you at 80.
See, when like if you're looking at OBS and you're looking at the decibel line underneath, I'm set at normal, regular old max. And I have you set to negative 35 decibels. And we level
Yeah, but
out.
you don't have me split up on a mixer, do you? Than your other audio?
No. It's just headphone audio only.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, looking at my wavelengths, I'm like way higher than you.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's not my fault. I'm just a louder person.
Yeah. My personal headphones, no one on the stream can see it. Like the ones on my ears can go to 100. I have it set to 10. Usually the highest I go is 15.
I have you at 100 and you don't even reach, like you get halfway. Mine just needles higher. I think it's just my voice pattern.
Possibly. What you want is for a recording, you want it to try and stick anywhere between like negative 12 and negative 6.
Oh. I'm like,
well,
wait.
Like the wavelengths where it peaks out, you want the peak to be somewhere in the negative 12 to negative 6, kind of like around the yellow area.
Well, I'm on Audacity.
Yeah.
We're like peaking out at a 3.
It should be fine. If it goes above that, then we might actually clip the sound, and we might like sound very bad.
I'm gonna lower you down then.
Okay.
Yeah, I stop at I pop to a 3, above a 3. All right, I'm gonna lower my volume just a little bit. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay.
That was actually kind of nice.
Below a 12 there. I'm like well below a 12. What the fuck? There's no like happy medium for me. Ah! I don't know. Audio's weird.
So scream into the microphone. That'll help.
I mean, yeah, it's how you fix it.
All right.
My wavelength is just my voice is just really weird. I think like for audio recording. I don't know.
Hi everybody, welcome to Critically Casual. I'm your host Srekcuf5, and joining me as
sorry, this might be the first audio version we actually upload.
That's true. This could possibly be the first audio upload. But
this is the first time you ever listen to us because you're listening through audio.
Welcome.
My bad. This show is not normally like this. Usually we get to the movie discussion by now.
At least the intro of the conversation, you know.
Yeah. Can I do my quick housework or house cleaning?
So I'm Srekcuf5. This is Dev. Say hi, Dev.
Hi.
Sure. What you got?
So just a heads up, we forgot to say last week what the rest of the month was planned. It's just completely spaced it because normally we would do that. It's been a weird couple weeks, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So like trying to go back into normal wasn't exactly normal because we would have had the month like announced the week before last week. So we wouldn't normally announce the rest of the month the first week of the month.
Mm-hmm.
We would have announced it the last week of last month. So we're doing the Batman Christopher Nolan trilogy next week, and then we're doing the week after that games adaptations with Prince of Persia and Battleship, correct?
Yes.
Glad I remembered. Excuse me. That was lovely. That was right in the mic.
It was okay. Your volume's a little lower now, so it wasn't as in our ears.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just wanted to do that quick house cleaning. Steven,
Yes.
Continue with the show, Mr. Host.
Yeah, thank you for letting me host my show.
Sorry, I can't. Fuck you. Whatever.
So hi everybody, welcome. I'm just kidding. So this week I have decided to call this week Americanime because you know it's Americanized anime.
Well, that is a good way to put it.
Thank you, Americanime. We're talking about Ghost in the Shell and Dragon Ball Evolutions. Is it Evolution or Evolution? Let me double check
Evolution.
Evolution. Yep. I typoed everywhere. It's okay though.
You usually do.
Yeah.
Hey, audio listeners, you don't have to deal with that.
Yay! It's okay. You also don't have to deal with the Ghost in the Shell is also uncentered in its little box here.
You're fucking kidding me. Hold on, I don't have the stream up. I just realized.
I just realized that too.
On other stuff.
I think I forgot to hit enter somewhere.
Oh, that was weird audio. Ignore that. Sorry.
Oh.
They might have heard an echo for a second. I might have to set up a mixer set just for Critically Casual.
All right. But yeah, we're talking about Ghost in the Shell, and then we're going to talk about Dragon Ball Evolution. Anything else before we start getting in on this stuff here?
Nope. I do want to say if you're dealing with the smoke right now, be careful. It's gotten far worse today to the point that like my pains in my chest have kicked up again. And it's just like, man, bad. My head hurts. It's just groggy. Like I spent 2 days inside over the weekend.
Yeah.
Today was the first day outside in like 48 hours. Roughly, probably around there. I mean, I stepped outside to like grab my mail and stuff like that, but that was it.
Yeah.
And so like my doing work and stuff like that in this is just tough right now.
Absolutely.
So if you're outside at all, please be careful. Take care of yourself. Please.
After all is said and done, replace your car filter, air filter.
Yeah.
So.
Did you see?
I think it was Stabby.
A Stabby? Yeah. That was a good call out. Like I hadn't even thought about that because I've never seen ash to the point of flakes. At least where I've lived in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's doing the same thing here. Like my dad talked to me this weekend about, hey, you want to wash your car because I parked my car on the street because there's not enough room in the garage. We wash. He was like, you want to wash off your car so there's not just ash sitting on your car and ruining your paint. And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. Except if we do that, it's just gonna get more ash. So let's wait.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what I'm. There's supposed to be rain later this week, but I'm also like, is it just gonna get? Are we just gonna get soot falling in droplets for a while?
At least a tiny bit. When it first starts raining, yes. You'll have black rain, not acid rain. Black rain.
Ash rain.
Yep.
It's gonna be weird. I don't know. It's like, just be careful out there, please. That was the last thing I wanted to say before switching over to actual talk.
Yeah. So let's get in here. We're gonna dive in first and start talking about Ghost in the Shell. So yeah, Ghost in the Shell. Dev, what do you think?
Curious choice that they wrote the whitewashing into a plot point.
Yeah, I like. So this movie tells two stories. It feels like to me, like it has two messages at least that it's trying to tell us, and one of them is like your family will love you no matter who you are, but at the same time, it's the person is definitely whitewashed. Like, both the antagonist and the protagonist are whitewashed. Like,
yeah, like it's just kind of off-putting the entire movie. Like, because if you have any relationship with the source material in any way, you know what it's supposed to be. Like, let me pull it up real quick. I believe I looked it up, but I just want to make sure.
Wait.
I just want to make sure what Major's nationality was real quick.
Major, yes, Major Kira, right? That's her name.
Yeah, I believe.
Ghost in Shell. I'm pulling up IMDb here myself because I forgot to do that before the show started.
That's fair. Lloyd. Up.
I like how you filled
I
the dead air there.
believe. Hey, no problem. I believe she's Japanese in the like original manga and anime series.
I wouldn't be surprised on it.
Just based off of name and everything else involved in the story. It just it when you get to like partway through the movie when there's like some reveals and stuff stuff about it. Because heads up for anyone who's listening to this audio, we try not to reveal everything for the first movie. Second movie, we reveal stuff after the spoiler button.
I like how we go into more detail now about our process than we ever have in the past like 2 years.
Well, it's going to be different because I mean this will be the first time we're actually uploading the audio, and people might actually be first time listeners. So most people who go to the YouTube side of things probably have seen it before. And are just trying to recatch the Twitch version of it. Like I don't know, it just kind of seems like they cast Scarlett Johansson as Major just to cast Scarlett Johansson.
They needed a body.
Like they needed someone who's familiar, so they casted her.
No,
and it just kind of feels underhanded.
I kind of get that because when I was watching this movie, I got a couple of different other movie vibes. Like I caught that they were trying to like get inspiration, I guess, from other movies. One of the first one, the one that kind of topped my list here was Lucy, because it was Scarlett Johansson kind of unlocking the full mind quadrant, all of her brain, and then once she does, she can like control the world. She's essentially a god. She's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And was Scarlett Johansson as the host, and she kind of had, ScarJo mannerisms where she whispers and talks, and I don't know, like, yeah, I guess I'll agree with you. Yes, they kind of just had her to have her, because I think because ScarJo had played a similar role before, where she's like trying to experience herself and become her who she's truly meant to be, I guess, ultimately. But at the same time, it doesn't help to have like what people are considering. Like, she's a very popular actress when this movie came out. It came out in 2017. This was midst of like Marvel hype.
Yeah. It came out on March 31st, 2017. Thank you for the segue. With a budget of 110 million. My goodness. Opening US at 18 million, gross US at 40 million, and cumulative worldwide gross at 169 million. So it did not make its money back.
No.
Made well under double the budgets. So, yeah. And I mean, I'm not surprised because I mean, like, there was a lot of controversy about this when it came out, though, because I mean, despite Scarlett Johansson being a huge star, like casting her in the lead of this movie did not sit right with a lot of people.
Oh, it did not.
And I mean, it's completely understandable too.
Like I had this conversation with a couple of people when it comes to movies, where it's like, how do you feel about changing the race and ethnicity and gender, even possibly, of a character from one medium to another? And more commonly than not, people will answer to me that they believe that if it's a periphery character, like a secondary character, it doesn't matter. But if it's a primary character, it matters.
See, my thought process is always going to be this. If the person is of a like cultural, national, or sexual orientation, something that is under represented, I think like if that character is originally that, you do not change that character's identity.
No, yeah,
because it's representation. It gives people of that background someone to identify as. So there's that. My other thought process too is that's not as big of a deal if the character is white because like people freaked out when Michael B. Jordan was cast as Johnny Storm
Hmm.
back for Fan Four Stick, and
People freaked
I
out
remember
for the casting of I literally just lost his name. Holy crap. The guy who used to control the bridge in Marvel. The ever all-seeing man in Thor.
Heimdall.
Yes,
Yeah, with
Heimdall.
Idris Elba.
Yes. I
But
forgot both
again,
those names.
well, another thing too is I mean they weren't like that character like that character's race doesn't make a huge difference.
Hmm.
I personally like I would have liked it better if like their mom was still alive too and stuff like that for Johnny and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
like like the character's race doesn't play a huge role in Johnny's story. Johnny just needs to be an attractive man.
Hmm. You're not
Michael
wrong.
B. Jordan is an attractive man.
You're not wrong.
If you argue that, you're wrong. And I'm attracted to women, so
Hmm.
like
So,
you're just wrong.
yeah, speaking of attractive men, there's news to talk about when we get towards the end of the podcast. So,
Okay.
keep that in mind.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about. I didn't look into it much. I just
I
saw that
didn't
it
either,
happened.
but
But so like that's my thought process on it. Like if it gives people more representation or it's a person that of a group who needs more representation,
hmm.
it should be played by someone of that like identity,
Hmm.
you know, because they can identify greater with that character and give more to that character than someone who doesn't. And that's not to say that like certain people don't do a good job
No, yeah.
trying to help that those like minorities be represented. But by doing that, you're not letting the people of those backgrounds have the chance to be those roles.
Hmm.
Like that's part of the problem, in my opinion. And this is part of that problem. And I mean, the fact that it didn't make its money, I'm okay with that.
Hmm. A lot of people are okay with it. This movie is what sparked a lot of controversy and started a lot of different conversations in Hollywood.
I think it's the start of the most recent. Like, I think it's the reason why the conversation still happens
Hmm.
now, because I think it sparked. Like, I mean, we're gonna talk about Evolution, which came out in '09. Like, that also had some of the same issues this one that we have with, which is just recasting characters as white to
Hmm.
recast them as somewhat recognizable people. But like it's just if there's someone who can identify with the role and bring more to the role because they have a connection to it, then cast them.
Hmm.
They're going to be able to give you more to that character. Like if they're a good actor and have that like background, they're going to be able to give more than someone who doesn't have that background who's also a good actress or actor.
So,
Like
I guess so. We know Scarlett Johansson. You would prefer her being someone of Japanese descent playing that role,
yes.
obviously. Do you also care about like Polo Asbæk because he was changed to like in the movie or in the original he's also supposed to be a Japanese but a big strong Japanese guy, but in this he's a British white man.
Again, I think it's still part of the problem. This like I also like argument there could be they are secondary characters. They
Hmm.
aren't the lead. Um so I could see like some m- I don't like it, but I can see the leniency,
Hmm.
but I also don't have that background. So at the same time, I don't want to say that it's okay because it's like that's not me that would
Yeah, I was about to
identify
say
with
you're
them.
the privileged one who's like, it's just another
Exactly.
white guy.
Yeah. I like I'm white. I have the privilege that like any movie has secondary mains and legions of white people in them.
Hmm.
Like there's someone I can identify with. Um so like I don't know, like it like I still think that it's not good. I think it's a lesser bad than casting Major as Scarlett Johansson, though, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I get you, because at least now he's a secondary character, main character. They're not really comparable because secondary character doesn't go through, like, he's not the focus of the movie, but it's still, they deserve that representation no matter what.
Yes. That would be the thing that I would point out, like, because that'd be like recasting people in Black Panther side characters as white when when Wakanda is a completely isolated country that didn't let people in. Like,
You mean?
there wouldn't be
Yeah.
there wouldn't be like really any white guys there. So like, I think it would be jarring to see a white guy in like there that wasn't from outside.
Yeah.
Um
I'm picturing now, like, I'm picturing people who are going to argue, hey, what about if a black person takes like Heimdall, like that thing where they take the role of somebody else, and like, I don't think it's comparable, personally.
One, they're a god, like, different.
Yeah.
You aren't gonna relate to Heimdall even if he was white.
Did you see how in Hamilton a lot of the founding fathers were played by people of color? Oh.
Well, and I mean and part of that is actually the controversy with Hamilton too. Like, people have talked about it. It's just like, especially later, they're like, it is kind of weird that a lot of these slave owners are played by people of color who would not have been on the same footing as those people. And it shows progression in the world, but it also, I see
it's mixed messages.
Conversation. It's a mixed message. Yeah, I see the conversation that it has, and I do appreciate that it is a conversation starter. Don't get me wrong.
But that's not the topic of our conversation right
now. No, the topic of the conversation is here because, like, honestly, right now, name a movie with a lead Japanese actress.
Off the top of my head.
As the lead character.
Nope, I can't.
Neither can I.
I mean, I'm sure if I sat down, like, I'm sure if I literally just typed one thing in, I could probably find a movie.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But it's not like, there's not like an American movie that I can name directly off the top of my head.
Crazy Rich Asians.
Is that American made?
Yes.
But they're not Japanese, are they? I thought, was that Japanese?
Probably not. I mean, it's called Crazy Rich Asians.
I mean, yeah, but I didn't watch that movie, so I don't know.
Let's see, Crazy Rich Asians, American romantic comedy. Travel to Singapore.
That's China, correct? If I'm remembering my my coast, Pacific coast of Asia correctly. Which then again, not a Japanese lead. If I remember correctly, then
no, that's just the closest.
Like, yeah, well, I mean, I can name a few with like Chinese leads and stuff like that, but probably not with Korean, probably not with Japanese leads, especially lead females. Like, like, this movie takes a chance for a Japanese actress, whether from Japan or Japanese American, to have a chance of maybe breaking out.
The only other thing I could think of would be, and the only reason I was thinking about this is Jackie Chan. And I'll bring that up later on in the next conversation.
Fair enough. But again, it's just like, this takes away opportunity for someone to maybe get noticed.
I hear you. Actually start putting in some diversity in the world.
Yeah. I don't know, and I think that's my biggest critique, that they legitimately wrote a plot point for the whitewashing to happen.
I hear you.
Like,
but the message that people will love you no matter who you are.
And that family is a choice and stuff like that too, and can have, and that you know, um the soul is who you are, not like the outer body and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And that message is still there in the other versions of Ghost in the Shell.
No, yeah, this is just a very mixed message movie, especially because the other message that this movie has is kind of like, it says it twice in this film is what we have done doesn't define us. It's what we do that does define us. Which is essentially like, you know, be okay with yourself and you'll be fine, and just try to be a better person, like aim to be the best person that you can be, and you should be fine. But at the same time, this movie, she doesn't get to that position until she knows who she was. So, like, it tells us the message, it doesn't matter who you were as long as you know where you're going. But she doesn't know where she's going until she knows who she was.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's another problem with it. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, it's kind of.
I was about to say, I could talk about the technical things that make this movie not so good too, if you want to.
Oh, there's a moment with CGI towards the end that happens where she does kind of some parkour-y stuff that like took me straight out of the movie. Because the rest of the movie, the CGI and the like the visual work of the movie was really good.
Yeah, that's one thing I wrote down here is the imagery in this movie is freaking amazing. Like,
a lot of it's ripped straight from the anime and the manga.
Mm-hmm. Like, it looks great. The things that they've done look awesome. The colors are super fantastic. The settings are kind of okay at times, but and I agree with you. But the CG did have a moment where it takes you out of it. It has a couple of those, I think, especially when it comes to the action moments. Like, I, for one, wrote down that there's way too much slow motion in this movie because every single fight scene in the first 45 minutes of this film was slow motion. And then towards the later bit of the movie, it speeds up to be like normal fighting. Like, they stop doing the slow motion stuff. But the fights are then less visually appealing. Like, there's one fight that happens in the pitch black, and the only light you get is a light that goes off when a person shoots a gun. And it just, you can't.
Usually those fights are really cool.
But you can't.
Movies like John Wick and stuff.
Yeah, but in this, it's like, it's 2 or 3 shots or sequences, angles, and you can't see what's happening. Like, you know, the winner is going to be Scarlett Johansson as Major Mira, but still.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just kind of it kind of just gets the action, like it's not consistent. And then too, like, again, that last, like the last epic moments, the CGI just gets wonky for me, and I'm just like, dude, you took me out. Like, you had me. And my big critique is always when CGI just like pulls you out when it's not consistent. Once that consistency's gone, I'm just like, okay, you've lost me. You have lost me at this point. Try to get me back. But there isn't a way to get me back when it's the last fight of a movie.
No, yeah,
at
absolutely.
that point, I'm gone from like the action. At least from an action standpoint, I'm gone. Story, I can still be there, but like action, I'm out at that point. If it's the last one. I mean, we talked about it. We still gave it an amazing score, but Black Panther had that issue.
Yeah.
Other movies have had that issue too that we've gone over. That's just the one that comes straight to my mind because we talked about it a little bit. But like, yeah, it's just like,
I hear you.
I don't know. It's just I honestly, I'd just rather watch the anime of it. If I'm gonna go with a visual version of it, I'm gonna watch the anime.
No, I 100% agree. Watch the anime, especially because they do things that they do in every movie to anime to movie adaptation is like cut out a lot so they can get to the story points. Like, one thing, for instance, I have a complaint is our main character, Major Mira, has hallucinations, and they happen occasionally in the beginning of the movie, and then an event happens called a deep dive, and then supposedly the hallucinations get worse, but
we never see them get worse.
Exactly. I was exactly. We get to see one
yeah.
hallucination, and she's like, the hallucinations are getting worse. It's like, how are they getting worse? We
saw
can't.
one.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no backing up that claim. When they said that, I'm like, did I miss something? I didn't go back to check because I did not want to watch more of this movie because I was already just sitting there wanting to play Minecraft with my friends.
No, I hear ya.
And so that's what I did yesterday after I was done. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go fucking play Minecraft.
Mm-hmm. And they also
go ahead. I seriously thought I missed a part of the movie.
Nope, they just skipped it. I guess. And there's also like there's an action scene where like these two just plain old average Joes get mind hacked, and then they interrupt some political person. I'm trying not to go into super spoilers.
Yeah.
And
they interrupt a VIP.
Yeah, they interrupt a VIP, and they exit their work vehicle fully kitted out with weapons and equipment that can make them turn invisible. And
you're right.
Yeah, I was like, how
an entire scene cut that showed that.
Mm-hmm. Like how they got those things, and then later on in the movie, when one of the people is caught, they're like, "What's going on?" And they're like, "I don't know. I don't know." And it's like, "Oh, are you kidding me? You don't know, and the writers don't know, and like."
Yeah, we never see how it happened, which just kind of adds like this air of you're just missing part of the movie. And the problem is this movie is already an hour and 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm. This was a slightly longer movie.
Yeah, it's an hour and 47 minutes, not counting the credits. It's like an hour 56 if you watch the credits.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know, man. Like that not being there threw me for a loop.
Like
there are two moments where I'm like, did I miss part of the movie?
But everything else though, like other than the super slow motion, I love the imagery of the film. Like that's something that I'll keep going back to. Is I could pause it and be like, that looks really nice. Especially that one moment where the guy's walking out on the water and the city is landscape behind him. I was like, damn, that looks great. There's a lot of cerebral stuff in this, especially in the very beginning. I thought I was watching Westworld when they did their exposition dump. And
I mean, this movie just makes me want to play Cyberpunk. Oh man, there was something new from Cyberpunk at work. I need to order that.
Ooh, nice. But yeah, other movies that this made me think of, because it made me think of Lucy. I definitely thought of Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. Only because of like 2049, I thought of because of one specific plot point with Decker. But with Blade Runner, I thought of like the whole aesthetic of the movie essentially was lifted from that. I also got Alita Battle Angel vibes, but of course Alita Battle Angel came after this movie, so I can't say that these were I did get a lot of V for Vendetta thoughts, like because it's all about our antagonist was, a bad guy, but was he a bad guy? And then
yeah, there was that as well.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, the last movie I thought of, only because how much they use slow motion in the beginning of this movie, I was like, are we watching Judge Dredd, like the new version of Judge Dredd, when they have the slow-mo drug? Because that's what this made me think of a lot.
Dude, that's got to be in the next adaptation month, by the way.
I agree. I didn't think about it until watching this movie, but I was like, we need to see that. So,
oh yeah, I'm so down to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why haven't we done that yet? Holy shit! It's like Carl Urban as Judge Dredd. God, that is such a good movie. That's such a fun movie. Oh yeah, we've got to do that in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like Ghost in the Shell. I don't think there's much more that I can say about it other than it's just like, I think the problem with it is that like it's done better elsewhere with the animes, with the manga. It's the whitewashing does bother you because it's just like they didn't just try to hide it. They made it a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes it worse.
Yeah, I agree with you. You are not wrong in this instance. So I can't argue with you. So instead, I'll give you your 10 popcorn kernels. How many will you rate?
I will rate this. because it does have some good visual aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
I think on a scale, like on a whole, like the acting isn't terrible, but I'm curious what someone who has more like cultural background could have brought to the characters, I guess.
I agree.
And just like some of the plot things don't make sense. Some of the stuff that's cut out to save time doesn't make sense. So overall, 5.5.
Okay, I can appreciate that. I was gonna give it a 6, so pretty darn
Oh,
close to each
we
other.
go back up to a 6 then for the overall rating because we do not do in between points.
So I also want to talk about something
In
before
between halves, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring this open to our people. Hi, people who are in the chat. What's up, boys? What's up, man? How you doing?
Boys and girls.
Yeah. While you guys have any questions about Ghost in the Shell, head us real quick while I ask Dev about this one thing. So Scarlett Johansson, I'm gonna look at her IMDb here real fast, and I'm gonna list a couple of movies, and I want you to tell me if you could kind of figure out if there's a similarity between her characters. Okay, I'm gonna it starts with Lucy, and then it goes to the movie we just watched,
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. Then we'll talk about Black Widow. You know, there's that movie there. Do you see any similarities between the three of them yet?
I mean, some assassin-ish kind of characters.
I was more thinking
badasses.
Well, yeah,
trying to be badass characters.
badass too, yeah. Or Hitchcock is another one. It kind of works out, but she's not an assassin or a badass in that one. But ultimately, I feel like she plays a lot of characters where her past is what she's either trying to find or trying to hide from. Like Lucy, she's trying to hide from her past of being injected with this thing to then become her full potential. In this movie, she's trying to realize who she was in her past to become her full potential. In Captain America, in like as Black Widow, she's a woman who, as far as we know as of right now, is trying to hide and run away from her past, or maybe accept it to acknowledge her full potential. And
I can see it. I can see it a little bit.
So, you know, typecasting in Hollywood's a thing, I guess.
And we've gone over it before.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's Ghost in the Shell, I guess. No one apparently had any questions. So we're going to move along here and start talking about Dragon Ball Evolution. And this is the one we'll go deep diving into and spoil later on
here. Okay.
Are you ready? He's gone into super complainer.
Dude, I might go super complainer 3.
Oh man, you're gonna need to buy a couple of wigs.
Shit, I'm gonna shave my eyebrows. Okay. All right. Man, can people who do adaptations of animation of any form please get names fucking correct? Like, this isn't a spoiler, but they don't say Shenron.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know what it's called?
Sure.
You already know, but hypothetically, answer the question.
Yeah, I have no. Sure, I have never seen this movie except for to review it. What is it called?
Shenlong.
Yes, Shenlong the Dragon.
Oh, there's so much wrong with this movie. As a Dragon Ball fan, for those who don't see, I'm wearing my Dragon Ball shirt. I would have been wearing my gi shirt, but I couldn't find it. A gi is what Goku wears in the show. I have a t-shirt that's in the coloration with Master Roshi symbol on the front, King Kai's symbol on the back, and it's cool. Would have been wearing that instead, but this was the biggest one I could.
That's all you got. You just got Frieza and Goku staring down at each other. Well, I mean, one staring up, one staring down, but whatever.
Man, this movie tries to combine bits of the first arc of Dragon Ball, the King Piccolo arc, and stuff from Z, while also kicking out stuff that's super important to all of those arcs. Oh. Oh. It's a mess. This movie's a mess.
This movie is 100% a mess. That the
came
only
out April 10th, 2009, and with a box office budget of 30 million, made 4 million US opening, made 9 million all through its time in the US, and made 55 million over its entire fucking run. And it does not deserve that.
Yeah, and not even that much money.
No.
I could see it. Like, what, especially after seeing this movie. This is the second time I've watched this film because
to chat, they just said that holy shit, the movie made a profit. No, it did not, because you have to double your budget or triple it because of advertising.
Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about advertising when it comes to movies. That
doesn't get added into your estimated budget. It's just that goes for like casting, equipment, like hotels and stuff, for cast and stuff like that. Like that just goes for that.
Casting, crew, talent, equipment, stuff, fun stuff. I had to do a bunch of that stuff in school. It was great. But
and then you want to double or triple the budget for advertising because you want to be able to make that much money back.
I mean, it's kind of cheaper nowadays to do advertising because Twitch and YouTube.
Oh, because of YouTube. Yeah.
So
you give people the opportunity to be sponsored by it and stuff like that on YouTube, like pay them less money than what you would pay like a big corporate entity like NBC or something like that to run your ad. You're gonna make you'll hit more of that audience, which actually is almost better for you because that person is more relatable than seeing an ad on TV.
Yeah, there you go. Marketing advice from the Critically Casual.
Sponsor us,
right? But going through this movie, the only reason I am not going to absolutely 100% shred this film to pieces is because they at least do the justice of calling themselves something slightly different. Like, this is Dragon Ball. It's inspired by Dragon Ball, but it's Dragon Ball Evolution. It's a difference. It's a change. Is
it inspired?
The characters are loosely inspired.
No, they are not. When has Goku ever been an infatuated schoolboy?
When he was 5 years old in Dragon Ball.
No.
He was totally in love with Bulma. Kid Bulma.
No.
But yeah, see, because I can't completely 100% tear this movie apart as much as I want to.
It's your critic in you, right?
Yeah.
Your film buffness.
Yeah.
Which is why I exist, by the way. The casual occasionally will come in here and just go ham. Go ahead. I want you to go first, please, because I will not be kind. Whatever closest to nice that will happen is going to come from you.
Okay, yes. And even then, it's not going to be the nicest thing ever. Like, the very first thing I wrote on here, like, I'm going to skip the vocal exposition dump because that, like, sure, we 100% need this exposition dump in the beginning, by the way. This is the first movie where I'll be like, no, I'm not angry at this exposition dump. Because, Jay, I would judge me too if I was too nice to this movie. But, no, I can't say that we can just skip the verbal exposition dump because you need it. Because you can't just be like, oh, I love Dragon Ball, let's watch this. Because no, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. There's no comparing the two, really. So you need to have that beginning exposition to be like, hey, this is what's going on in the world. This is what's up. Or this is what had been up. And guess what? It kind of doesn't matter. Now, the very first thing I write after that is, first rule is no rules. And then I write underneath this, oh no. Because it's
the first line.
Yeah, it's the first line in the movie after the beginning exposition dump, and I'm like, oh no.
And then some close-up shots of sweat going into Justin Chatwin, who plays Goku. No offense to Justin Chatwin, by the way. I think he's not a bad actor at all.
No.
He's he's entertaining and everything else I've seen him in, really. But not Goku.
Like in this movie, I think he fit fine, but he wasn't a good Goku. Like, it's weird. If they changed the name of this character and changed, the whole theming behind this movie, yeah, they'd probably have a much better film. But but like, if we're gonna start talking about acting, which we can, there's one character in particular that I did not like, and that is Bulma, played by Amy Rossum.
Which, funny enough, those two are on a show together, or were on the show.
Well, I think I know which.
Shameless. They were both on Shameless. In a relationship together in the show.
Because I did not like her. Like, I felt like she was trying. She was reading her lines that she was given.
She was trying to figure out what this character is supposed to be.
Yes.
I don't think she's ever seen, I don't know if she's ever seen Dragon Ball. Because Bulma's not like this.
No. Like, and you could kind of hear it in her voice, too. Like, some of the things that she was saying, like, she was kind of confused in how she was saying her lines. Or she was saying it like she was just reading it off a piece of paper. Like, I'm not saying she's a bad actress, but this was not the role for her. 100% would have put somebody else here.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, it also goes to directing. Whoever directed this didn't know who Bulma was.
Mm-hmm. And it also goes to writing. Whoever wrote this.
Bulma's their favorite character from that show. Let's just write up this character, Bulma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my Krillin Dragon Ball Z abridged voice a little bit there, but
I mean,
hey guys,
I felt like this was possibly the closest you could get to watching a live action Dragon Ball Z abridged movie. Like,
but it's not funny.
You're not wrong. Like, it's so weird. I wrote down on my notes here, I feel like I'm watching either Shaolin Soccer or Kung Fu Hustle, but taken seriously.
Yeah, that's a good way too. And like, they changed so much, like turning Ki into like a bending, like
air and fire and earth bending.
Yeah, that's not what Ki's about in the show. Mm-hmm. Like, Ki is, because again, at this point in the show, during like the Piccolo arc, okay, like spoilers for Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, but like during the Piccolo arc, Ki attacks weren't even like the big thing yet. Mm-hmm. Ki had more recently been introduced. Goku had just started, like, just learned the Kamehameha, like, previously from
is this
Master
Kid
Roshi.
Goku?
What? Yeah, Kid Goku, yes.
Is this before or after the moon?
This would have been after the first time.
Okay. Before after Piccolo does the big thing?
That's a long time later. Okay. That is I want to say a decade later.
Okay.
In the universe.
I thought
this is well before that.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I'm piecing the years.
You're thinking of when he's with Gohan.
Piccolo does that. I got them confused. Similar story arcs, different characters.
Yes. Goku turned into the Great Ape the first time during some of the Red Ribbon, I think, and it's during the first time the Dragon Balls get together from the when Pilaf.
Hang on 1 second here.
Like, what's the pig's name? Fuck. The pig makes the wish and gets the panties. Mm-hmm. The show is great, by the way. If you've never watched the original Dragon Ball or read the manga, do yourself a favor. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do one thing real fast because you said Great Ape, and if you've only ever seen this movie, you'd be like, "Oh, that's an ape."
You're not wrong.
That's how I feel about all of the visual, like the special digital effects.
Like how would that's the Kamehameha wave?
Yeah, that's the Kamehameha wave. That's you doing whatever the swan palm strike thing is. This is, yeah. This is what a beetle looks like.
My stupid flashlight version of this was better. Was better than the fucking farts out of the hand.
Dude, and especially, I hate it because the horny schoolboy aspect, going back to that real fast. Like that whole scene with Chi-Chi. He's like, I can't do this, but if I touch you, can you do it? Well, maybe I can.
Well, that's the other problem. That's not Goku. Goku doesn't, like, Chi-Chi and Goku have the weirdest relationship. Mm-hmm. Like, the fact that like Vegeta is better in a relationship with Bulma than Goku is with Chi-Chi, which is bizarre, but they are. Like Vegeta and Bulma kissed, and Vegeta's like, Goku's like, what was that?
But I mean, come on now. Obviously, the best relationship that could possibly ever happen is Yamcha and Bulma. Like, clearly, they're supposed to be together.
well, see, a lot of my problem with this movie too is that, like, I'm fine with adaptation, and I think a first movie could work for Dragon Ball if you use the King Piccolo arc. That's a good arc to start with. It's one of the strongest arcs in the show. My problem is you have to make sure certain characters are introduced. One very important character who is not in this movie, who is absolutely crucial to the King Piccolo arc. It's your boy Krillin. And he ain't there, man.
Nope.
Krillin is not in this movie. Cut entirely, which is part of the heart of that arc. Is what happens to Krillin at the beginning of the King Piccolo arc drives Goku the rest of that arc. So, like, you take that out, you take a huge part of the heart of that arc out. What do you replace it with?
Nothing.
This stupid teenage bullshit. That's not what Goku's about. Goku is about surpassing your limits, being a guardian for people, and having a love to fight.
Isn't Goku all about, isn't he also like never backing down? And
no, he'll back down from a fight.
Oh, that's right, never mind. I was thinking about something else, sorry. He definitely quit and gave his bad guy a bean to repower him. That totally happened once or twice.
Shut up. Hey, Krillin. Yeah? Bean me. Sensu bean. No! If you don't know what that's from, go watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged now.
Yeah, that I'm so sad that
a favor.
But going back,
such a good ending though. Yeah, going back.
Other things I want to talk about is just ultimately going back to the super awful CG. Every single thing in this movie that was not done practically was garbage. Like,
oh my god.
Like, even
understatement.
No, and even like some of the practical fighting that they did. Like, the reason why I said this reminded me like of Kung Fu Hustle but more serious is a bunch of the action was very floaty. Like, it was wire work action, of course, where they landed slowly or they lifted off slowly and they hovered in the air a little bit, and it like that's stuff that they did in comedy Kung Fu movies. So
well, even then, like in good Kung Fu movies, I'm fine with wire work because it can add kind of a level to a fight.
Even in good action movies, there's wire work used all the freaking time.
But like it can work, and it's like I'm fine with a character seeming floaty because it almost adds like a level that, man, this person, like if they're able to lift off and hover there because of wire work, and it makes them look powerful, and it makes them look like they're about to just whoop ass. That is such a cool moment in any kind of like fight that's about to happen if it's done right. This movie makes it look like Goku is going like, ah!
And it's so weird because we get so many mixed messages too, because it looks super floaty and super effortless, but at the same time, the actor for Goku sitting there with like veins sticking out of his face, his eyes are red, he looks like he's about to tear up because he's in so much pain. But yeah. And then we go on from there where it's like there's a moment where we get a really shitty looking CG beetle that's kicked in somebody's mouth. We have,
oh god,
yeah, we have this weird daydreaming sequence. We have,
oh my god, what the? This movie is horny.
It really is. We have I wrote down I wrote down shitty looking lockers, shitty looking house collapse, shitty looking bike fall, shitty looking background. Yamcha's a surfer bro.
Oh my god, like Yamcha's not supposed to be the brightest, but like making him a surfer bro was just he's supposed to be a thief for the heart.
Then I have shitty animal
so
thing.
there's no Pancha? cat. There's no cat. There's no transforming cat.
There's no little tiny white man either.
No tiny bald fucking
bomb. Is it too soon?
There's no Plar. Yeah, Plar. Thank you. The cat. We have no Plar, dude. Yamcha shows up with no talking Plar, dude. And I'm upset about it.
And then
also we don't get we also don't have we don't get Tien or Chaozu either during this.
Which I'm both okay and not okay with this. Like, I'm not okay with it because each one of those encounters with the young Goku change him to who he becomes. They're each one of them, they're individual benchmarks. They're like, I need to surpass you. I need to surpass you. I need to surpass you. You teach me this valuable lesson. You teach me this valuable move. You do this, you do that. But they couldn't do all of that in this movie because it's an hour and a half.
Also, it's not just what Goku can learn from them. Because Goku as a person doesn't change, really. Because as a person, Goku is always Goku.
Okay.
He doesn't really change his moral and characteristical makeup doesn't really change. But he is who he is. Like, he's who he is, and he learns new techniques because of people. He learns to push himself and stuff like that. What Goku does though is change the people around him. We don't get any of that in this.
No, in this...
That's why I love Tien. Tien is the first bad guy gone good. In Dragon Ball. If you count Yamcha, you weren't paying attention. Yamcha was never a bad guy.
Yamcha's just out for the benefit.
Yamcha was just there, happened to run into that group, and he just had a heart. he was already kind of a good guy. I don't know, it's just like it doesn't have the heart of it. I will say Yun Fat Chow as Roshi was, I think, a good casting for Roshi, but this movie needed to be better for him.
Like, I felt like he was the most in tune with the character he was playing, for sure. Like, his
character just wasn't wrote well.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't the Roshi that was in Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, but he was a good Roshi in this movie. He was the best. He was the best character in this movie. I would say the next,
undoubtedly,
to me, I would say the next best would probably have to be maybe Chi-Chi. But then Chi-Chi is just weird in this movie with like what her character is. So then I guess it would probably be Goku, but he's not really a Goku. He's more of just an energy crazed teen. And then we have
sex crazed.
Yeah.
So not him.
Lord Piccolo's definitely not Piccolo. So
no, he ain't no Lord Piccolo. He's not Piccolo or King Piccolo. He ain't neither of them. He is Lord Piccolo.
Yeah,
he's lame.
I was getting a lot of the Thor 2 Dark Elf with Christopher Eccleston.
Yes. That's also, there's a random Ernie Hudson character in this. Ernie Hudson shows up in this movie randomly.
Oh yeah.
If you don't he's from Ghostbusters. And just he showed up and I'm like, wait, Ernie Hudson? What are you doing here? What? What? Who had dirt on you? Who got you in this movie?
I didn't remember. I remember now.
Yeah.
Though I do have to say, this movie also being whitewashed has some really horrible stereotypes in there. Like Grandpa Gohan preparing dinner and enjoying that sweet, delicious bird's feet. Quality stereotypes right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this that just makes you question who allowed this.
And the answer is everybody who worked on this movie.
20th Century Fox.
Well, that makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? It's Fox, or was Fox.
It was 20th Century Fox, Dune Entertainment, and Star Overseas are the main three.
Production.
It's just like, dude, I don't. All right, I'm balling in. Here we go. All right.
Do we want to rate it and then go into spoilers, or?
No, I need to have my moment here.
All right,
Okay,
before spoilers. Okay.
pre-spoiler moment. There might be a post-spoiler moment, but this is the pre-spoiler moment. I say this almost every fucking time we watch an adaptation nowadays. If you're gonna do it well. Do it good. Don't do it just to make money. There should be a reason to make a Dragon Ball live action adaptation.
Mhm.
There should be heart. There should be the fact that like maybe you can expand on something that, you know, Miyamoto was not able to. Or Miyamoto's no, God damn it, I'm mixed. Who?
Yeah, you're
Ah,
getting the name mixed
uh,
up.
uh, I'm trying to remember Dragon Ball Z Abridged opener. Toei Animation and Fuji TV. Corey Toriyama.
Akira
Toriyama.
Toriyama.
That Toriyama has done that you can expand upon. I didn't even look at chat for it. I got there eventually. Because like there should be a reason.
Did not butcher the spelling there. Okay.
Yeah, he did well. There should be a reason to do this. If it's beloved. At this point, Dragon Ball Z was loved worldwide.
Absolutely. A lot of people, it's like the anime for people our age and older.
Yeah.
Like,
and younger, because you had like Kai and stuff like that too. Like,
and there's now Dragon Ball Super right now.
yeah.
So,
like it is the ever spanning anime. It is how it's a lot of people's gateway anime. It's a lot of people's most memorable. Like, you need a reason to be live action adaptation for this. And this is not it, man. Like, you killed so much. You butchered characters. You butchered names. Shen Long. His name is fucking Shenron. Get it right, you fuckers. The fact that like the Dragon Balls have this weird like thing about them, like they don't explain the rules of the Dragon Balls. We get explained the rules of the Dragon Balls multiple times throughout Dragon Ball.
But there's a riddle and a nursery rhyme poem that explains what happens.
No, but it doesn't explain the rules. What are the rules of Dragon Balls? In the show, it's that you can only bring someone back once, right? You can bring back everyone, right? Like, let's say your stipulation is, I want to bring everyone killed by King Piccolo. You can do that.
But Master Roshi and all these other specific people are more important, you know?
Yes, but that's how he brings everyone back. That's why, because multiple people died during the King Piccolo arc. That is part of, like, that was the first time we had someone be brought back to life because of the Dragon Balls.
I mean, the reason why I don't think they explain the rule, like, I understand that the Dragon Balls do have rules in the base anime. But you have to remember, in this movie, there are no rules.
I don't care. That doesn't matter. Like, they're important to the story, in my opinion. They add a weight to it. So, like, again, that's why I also don't know if this was the right choice for the first thing, because you cut out characters that are super important. You cut out parts that are super important. You take stuff from Future. You take stuff from Z about aliens. Aliens were never discussed in the early Dragon Ball. They were like Piccolo's kind of and Kami's designs were alien-esque, but they were demons at that point. We didn't know what they were. They were demon kings. And a god. They were a demon king and a god. That's what they were. That's all we knew about them. That's all we needed at the time. Toriyama was planting the seeds for Z, but that's all he did. Because when we got to Z, we get introduced to Raditz, who's like, hey, I'm from space. You're my brother, Goku, or Kakarot. Let's go. And you know what? That expanded that universe. you don't take from that point to put it back in a point that doesn't happen. Like, Goku came from space is disgust, and it pisses me off. And it's just like, that is not how this goes. You can't do shit like that just to make and not like make it reasonable, and just I've broken 3 toothpicks because I'm trying to keep my hands like from like stressing too much. And I'm trying not to break the toothpicks, but my hands keep like collapsing in and I keep breaking them. It's frustrating, man.
So angry. Yeah. But and that's
just it butchers so much.
And that's where I like, because that's where I'm making my kind of critical separation here, because while this is very loosely inspired by Dragon Ball, and it has it in the name, so I can't really say it's that loosely inspired when it's supposed to be that much. But it is supposed to be its own individual thing. It's kind of like the same argument we had with Man of Steel, where you hated it because it's so much different than Superman, but he's not that Superman.
Because it doesn't have Superman in it. There isn't a Superman in Man of Steel. That was my argument.
That's why it's not called Superman. It's called Man of Steel.
Then don't put Superman in the movie. If you're gonna make a Dragon Ball movie and not make it about Dragon Ball, don't make a Dragon Ball movie.
That one, like in this specific instance, it makes more sense. Like,
but that makes sense then too. It's the same problem. If you're not gonna have the heart and the reason for the adaptation in the first place, then don't fucking do it.
Isn't this what you wanted, Jay? In chat here? You wanted Dev to burst a blood vessel?
It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. It's my problem with Man of Steel. It's my problem with this. It's my problem with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's my problem with Death Note. If you don't have the heart of what was there, I'm fine with you changing things to make it its own version. But you need the heart of why the thing was there in the first place. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is fantastic because it takes the heart of the comics and puts it on the screen. It's changed so much, but it's still those characters. You could take them and flip them, and they'd still fit in. You can't replace Goku from the anime or the manga with Giko from this movie. You can't. It wouldn't work. You can't replace the Man of Steel Superman. You can't put him into the Superman comics without shit going wrong, because he's not the Man of Tomorrow. He's not Superman. You can't put Ong in the Avatar: The Last Airbender from the stupid movie into the show without things not being right. They don't have the heart. They aren't the characters. Stop this. I'm so tired of butcherings. So tired.
So I guess my next question then is, what if instead of this being inspired by all these different chapters of like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, what if this is actually all inspired by the Teen Gohan arc of Dragon Ball Z? Like, since he's
still wrong.
Okay.
Because then make it a Teen Gohan movie.
But it kind of is. It's a guy going to high school trying to be a
Then don't make him Goku.
Oh. How are the wave levels on the Audacity recording?
I haven't checked. Don't put the fucking name Goku on this character, because he's not Goku.
But he's this movie's Goku. Even though he's a terrible Goku. Yeah.
He's not Goku. That is not Goku. That is Giko. I will refer to him as Giko until the day I fucking die, because he is not Goku. It's just annoying. Like, you legitimately could not trade Goku between the two versions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because it wouldn't work. That's not the heart of the character. That's not who he is. He's not some infatuated teenager who's trying to get some girl who happens to find himself on an adventure. That's not the story. That's not who he is. That's not the heart of the character. That's not why Toriyama created this story. That's not why the story exists. That's not like... That's not what these characters are for. Bulma's not some like shooty McShooty son who has like some weird like spy training for some reason.
Who's out for fame?
Like, who's out for fame? She was out to get a fucking boyfriend in the show. And seriously, that has been her plot point until she met Vegeta.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she had everything else in her life figured out. She was smart. She had a company she was working with, and she's like, I guess I could use a man. Her dad owned
Capsule Corp.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needed a boyfriend, and I don't blame her. She was a teenager at the time. She was like 16. Of course she's gonna, if she's like rich and fucking, she's rich and has the ability to, why wouldn't she go hunting for a boyfriend? I'm breaking so many toothpicks right now. It's stressful.
You might want to get something else to squeeze. We need to get you one of those eye poppy stress squeeze balls things.
Seriously. Where's her pervy Roshi, dude? Like, I'm fine with Roshi being a little pervy because it's funny. And
there was a little bit of pervy Roshi in this movie.
There was one magazine,
and he grabbed her butt when they got on the motorcycle.
That doesn't count enough. I mean, it's the only 2 times it happens.
And then he grabbed her butt when she fell.
He never teaches Goku.
No,
he never truly teaches Goku. And the fact that, like, you've changed the entire embodiment of what Ki is. Like, I'm fine with Ki being changed, okay? But don't rip off a different show and replace Ki with that. Ki is bending. Fuck you, this ain't Avatar! This is Dragon Ball!
Okay, now I also have another question then. Did you, because I thought I didn't see this. Did you see the post-credit scene of this movie?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I thought on our recording that we share, it was like you didn't get that far, but.
The only post-credit scene?
Yeah, the one post-credit scene.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay.
Still pisses me off because it's not the same thing that happens in the show and, like, doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make a lick of sense to me.
Okay. And that doesn't fit into the conversation. I was just curious.
No, I know. Piccolo's awful in this, by the way. He's supposed to be based off of King Piccolo. He's Lord Piccolo, so obviously there's the correlation. Fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
This is not King Piccolo. He's not menacing. He's not scary. He doesn't have a goal except ruling the world.
And we don't know why. And plus, we don't even know how he got there this time around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like in the actual story, we don't know how he got there back either. We don't see him get back and stuff like that. King Piccolo shows back up and it's like he's got the goal of winning the Dragon Balls to become young again, so he can rule the world.
Mm-hmm.
To be back into his prime, because that is his best fighting condition, and he can whoop ass, and no one's gonna be able to stop him because he's super fucking strong at that point compared to everyone else. He'd probably be at a power level of 100, a little under 100.
Over 9,000.
Wait till we get there. It's a long while in between then and next. I think like Goku at Z is like at 100, 108. He gets some buff. He get buff. He get them gains.
The reader doesn't even work.
Yeah. But like, he's not even goddamn Piccolo. He's not menacing. The minions are putties. Like, because the minions are supposed to be important. There's like, there's oboe, there's flute, there's a bunch of them. They're named after instruments, and it's really funny.
Let's say this one, they were very like amorphous, no
putties.
real description.
They were putties from Power Rangers.
Putties, sure, yeah. But hey, they could. The one thing that this movie did well is it did lava physics well because things float on lava.
I will give it that credit, straight up. And I will say this, okay? This isn't as bad as Death Note.
That's good.
It tries.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong. It definitely tries, especially especially the like climactic final battle scene. I was like,
yes.
Really? Come on now.
The whole end starts to tank what little I had for this movie.
Mm-hmm. I had to write down again, there are no rules. I wrote it down right towards the end of the climactic battle, only because I was thinking of specifically, I guess in this, at this point it was Ozaru, who was, whoever that was, and the solution to that, and how it had nothing to do with the anime. I was like, oh yeah, there's no rules. That's right.
Dude, the whole Ozaru thing is arguably the part I hate the most.
But it helps. It fits our perfect anime theme because the last movie had something to do about not knowing your past too.
I don't care. It's so dumb. It's so fucking. If you're gonna change something from the anime or from the manga, give it a reason to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a reason to change it. That is dumb. Who let that happen? What test audiences were there for this movie? I want to know. Was there a single person in the test audience who had watched Dragon Ball?
You know what's actually kind of funny is nowadays they don't really do full-on audience testing anymore. They more do audience trailer testing because they think Hollywood believes that they have the formula figured out so well that they can just show you the trailer and be like, they're going to see it or no.
Well, and usually testing is actually more in-house too nowadays. It's usually like Disney will bring in their families to watch it and stuff like that. Which makes sense. I mean, if you want someone to be brutally honest, bring your kids and your parents.
Oh yeah. No, your parents will be like, I loved it, sweetie. That was great.
My dad won't. My dad will be like, I mean, he'll be like, he did good, but except for when I played music, he was actually pretty good about it. He's like, but he'll give pointers and stuff like that. He'll give honest things like, hey, I think during this, you could try this a little bit more. And you could probably do this better. Like, your parents will give you constructive criticism. Kids will just give you criticism.
Yeah, they'll just be blunt.
Kids are brutal. Which is honestly, you should who the fuck watched this movie and went, yeah, I'd see this.
I mean, I watched
no one. We watched it 11 years after it aired.
I mean, I don't remember when I watched this before, but I definitely watched. This is my second time watching this movie.
First time.
Okay,
I've avoided this movie.
I mean, you also avoided Big Hero 6 somehow. So,
well, that was on purpose. I just didn't have a reason to watch it.
Like, I kind of wish the movie that I want, that I know you have no connection to, is Srekcuf5. Like, I would love to watch that here, because it's a movie that has 13 books, originally, and they take parts from like book 1, book 5, and then book 13, and compress it into one movie, and yeah, I got pretty livid. You would see, like, when I watched that movie, I fanboyed really hard, and I was like, "This is awful."
I'd love to have a moment because we could flip for a movie. That'd be awesome.
I'm not sure I would do that nowadays because I don't have as much connection to that book series. But
I didn't have as much of a connection to Artemis Fowl.
That's true. But yeah,
hadn't had any connection to Artemis
I read
Fowl
all of those. I read all of the Srekcuf5 books in middle school, or towards the very beginning of high school as well, like my freshman year. And then I watched the movie that I think came out my sophomore year, and it was god awful.
I mean, that's this. I haven't really watched anything Dragon Ball for a little while. But probably not. The last Dragon Ball thing I would have watched is Broly,
Okay.
which I think came out 2 years ago or a year ago, something like that. It's right here.
Before
2018, yeah.
Okay. Before we go too far off topic, are we done talking about this movie? Is it?
I will allow us to move on to spoilers.
Okay, so can I get my popcorn kernels then?
You have your popcorn.
Okay. Sorry, you like cut out halfway through a hiccup burp type of thing.
Sorry.
So, all right.
You have your popcorn.
Thank you. All right, I will take said popcorn and I will give this movie. I'll give it a 3.5. Changing my score as I was saying it.
What were you originally gonna give it a 3?
Yeah. Because it's trying to be its own thing, but also not. 3.5 out of 10. Yay.
Yeah, our score is always out of 10. This movie seriously only gets a point because there's an attempt from Yun Fat Chow as Roshi.
Yes.
That there gets a point from me, okay? Because you can see heart with his character. You can see what could have been Roshi, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which gives it a point. Everything else takes away all the points, okay? And I can't give a score lower than half a point. That is a rule that Steven has made early into the show.
I wouldn't let you give Death Note a 0, so.
You wouldn't. So with that, because of that half point, okay, I am going to give it a 1.5.
Oh. I thought you were just going to give it a 1, but a 1.5.
I'm giving it the point from Yun Fat and the 0.5 from it existing. Because we wouldn't have this movie. We wouldn't have this episode of the podcast without it. I guess that's the 0.5 that Death Note got. Thus, bringing the average to a 2.5. Your 3 would not have changed that.
Yeah, no, it would not have.
It was getting a 2.5 regardless. I could lower it if I wanted to. So your Dragon Ball Evolution gets a goddamn 2.5, which still feels too high.
Do we give it a point up because it's a kid's movie? I'm just kidding.
This movie is too horny to be a kid's movie.
No, it's definitely too horny to be a kid's movie. You kidding? There are camera angles where we get to see Chi-Chi's bra in her shirt. So like, oh my god, horny teen.
Let's get ready to spoiler!
So yeah, we're spoiling now. Dragon Ball Evolution. And we're gonna.
If for some awful reason you actually plan to watch this movie after this, like us idiots, despite all of the warnings we have had for years. If you're not doing it for like a show or content, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, don't.
If you're not doing a content, don't watch.
How much did this movie cost this week? $4.99?
Yeah.
Money poorly spent.
It gave me something to yell at instead of the world.
I guess that's true. A brief distraction.
Brief moment to just let out some frustration.
At least you're not sitting there like crying in the corner of your shower. Or, like, but
I'm going to say this. Let's try to keep the spoilers brief-ish because I'm already at an hour 25.
Yeah.
With the audio recording.
Yeah, it's definitely, we're at an hour and a half here. So going in the spoilers, things I briefly want to talk about is if you're gonna do this movie, if we're going to do a movie where it's all about superpowers and superhuman abilities, why would you do it the dishonor of having such horrible graphics?
Oh my god! And why make the powers powder? Oh my god! That final fight is just Cloud. Also, there's no flying Nimbus. I just thought about that.
Nope.
Where the fuck is the Nimbus Cloud?
He can't jump.
Oh my god!
Yeah, he can't. There's no Nimbus Cloud. He can't fly. He doesn't really know how to jump high yet. Yet somehow when he does the super Kamehameha wave, he can leap through someone else's energy attack blast and do fine. And there's no tail, so when he transforms, he can't be untransformed except for by power of will.
Power of will.
Which that's how this kind of connects to our last movie. It's all power of will.
And yeah, Jim just entered chat and said, yeah. No, they couldn't save it. No one could save it.
No one could save this movie.
Literally, I gave it, seriously, Chow Young is the only reason this movie is at a 1.5 from me overall. This is the second worst rating I've given a movie.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say this. I'm surprised.
This is the worst rating we've given this year.
It is
overall. We knew after we discussed this movie being on the list like a month ago that this would probably do it. This would be the worst.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised. I thought you were going to give it another half a point.
Again, if I'm scaling it to Death Note, if Death Note is the lowest movie on my scale, while movies that I've given 10s to are Into the Spider-Verse, 1917, stuff like that.
Those are some pretty big changes in quality of film there.
Yes. It's a huge change in quality. And the middle can kind of change based off of reasons just entertainment, right? Because I am the casual.
Mm-hmm.
But the closer you get to the end point, the closer to that you have to be, right? Yeah. And I think Death Note is arguably the worst movie I've ever watched. Because there isn't at least anything enjoyable in it for me.
Okay. Does that mean you would rewatch this?
You just got way louder, by the way.
I got closer to my mic.
Oh.
Yeah. Hi, how's it going? Does that mean you would rewatch this movie?
I mean, we said we'd rewatch Death Note.
That's true, we would. But that's for...
But we would be drinking, and it would be us doing an audio file to watch over it.
That would be because we're getting paid extra moolah. I'm just kidding.
Not really, no. We'd just be doing it because it'd be fun. This one would be on the list to do it with. If I watch this again, it's going to be with friends to make fun of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I will not go out of my way to ever watch it again on my own.
Mm-hmm. Especially one of the things I think of. One of the ones that got me was the two of the things that made me think I keep thinking about with this movie are that very shitty Ozaru character, which was I wrote down werewolf monster that's supposed to be a giant gorilla ?
And every time, dude, I hated the cuts to its feet.
Oh yeah. Wow, yeah, I hated that. And then I was also thinking of the last thing that really bugged me was the test of 7. It was never addressed that collecting all 7 of the Dragon Balls was supposed to be some side of test. Yeah,
this is never said. We've collected the 7 Dragon Balls, passing the test of 7. When was that said?
Yeah, because the only other time they bring up 7 is at the very beginning when they're talking about the 7 people that sealed away Piccolo originally. And so then it would mean the souls of those 7 are in the Dragon Balls, but they're not a dragon. And we know that the Dragon Balls are made...
I hate that name, by the way. I can't get past it. Every time they said Shenlong, my brain went... By the third time, I yelled, Shenron! It's Shenron! It's like at work when people say customer, not guest. I audibly will say guest. Even if it's not on radio or anything like that, my brain will go guest. That is what it was to me. It was Shenron, 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 say fucking Shenron!
It's there's a meme going around lately that I've been seeing. It's Friends, where Blonde Lady and Ross are trying to be Phoebe, yes, Phoebe and Ross are going back and forth this word, that word, this word, that word, this word, that word, full sentence, completely different full sentence. It's one of those kind of memes lately.
Oh my god, this movie's all of that though. There's some other ones that they messed up too that I didn't even like. I can't remember because Shenron stuck so well into my brain. Did I mispronounce it there, or did I say it right?
You said Shenron there.
Okay, I was gonna try. I
Shenlong.
think I tried to say Shenlong, but my brain immediately goes Shenron, because that's how you fucking say it. It's like ong, 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 ong. It's Ang.
Mhm. Like
It's Shenron.
one of the things I wish we got in this movie too was like we hopped in this movie where Goku's at the point where he's like, I'm not special, I'm different. Like, which is clearly like a dumb way to think about yourself and whatnot and think you're different, but and whatever. But we joined in the middle of that when we should have started somewhere earlier where he doesn't think he's anything. Like he's just trying to fit in, and then he gets subjectified and individualized and told he's different. And but then this
okay. You know what? To make this even better, let's just skip the whole school thing.
we could totally sure.
Just cut it.
Okay. You mean like they did in the cartoon?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Like in the anime, yeah, or in the manga, yeah.
Hmm.
Like in the source material, yeah.
Guess that makes sense.
Or are we trying to keep this closer to the movie?
I was trying to
changing too
keeping
much?
it closer without changing it a little too much.
Oh, then I'm still done.
No worries, I understand completely. But like this movie is
checked
ultimately trying to be like be okay with yourself. That's what this movie is trying to say.
Just in the story. This is the horror.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god! You know what's happened?
Hmm.
Man of Steel took what Dragon Ball usually does, which is being like trying to be the hero, right, and making the choice, right, and be the fighter kind of thing. While Dragon Ball went trying to fit in and try to be yourself. They did each other's story. Superman was trying to find out his limits in Man of Steel. Goku's trying to fit in as a man from a foreign world. They did each other's stories.
Well,
And it didn't work.
they got it mixed up. Gosh darn it!
I just made that correlation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right.
I mean, you
That's why
can
I
think
don't
that
work.
way.
I'm 100% right now.
So one thing I want to talk about too is how did you feel about the ending? Shut up, Jay. Don't agree with
Which ending?
him. So first ending where we
The
get
horny fight?
yes, horny fight.
Well, I let you hit me. Yeah, well, I wasn't backing down. Oh well, you know, I just didn't want to humiliate you. This and that, and then they jump kick at each other, and we end the movie there.
Mhm. Which the one thing I don't like how that movie. I don't like how it ends there because one, it's a horny fight and it's just silly and dumb. But two, that whole
It's too horny.
and that whole situation only happens because our sidekick for Piccolo, who I don't think is ever named in this movie.
But it's Mai from the Pilaf gang, or May from the Pilaf gang.
May as Eriko Mara.
Yeah.
She apparently has this ability to shapeshift, which she just needs the blood of the person to do it.
Which she only uses once.
Yeah, which makes it super confusing because you're like, wait, you could do this and you only do it once at the very end of the movie? Huh. And that's why that whole horny fight happens to begin with.
I hate it here.
And then I do want to talk about the secret, super special mid-credit scene.
Oh no.
Yeah, why not? You don't want to talk about
Oh,
Piccolo
no.
still being alive?
Oh no, it's so wrong. Why is he still alive?
So he can realize he had been a mistake. I'm expecting, the reason why I wanted to get to this is because I wanted to talk about the hypotheticals. Because obviously they were trying to make a sequel out of this.
But what would they have ever done with a sequel?
I know. Like,
how wrong could that have gone?
I'm imagining like Spider-Man 3 here, but slightly different.
Spider-Man 3 would be better.
What I'm imagining is like it starts out with Piccolo coming back and trying to fight Goku, and then Vegeta and not Brawly,
Appa?
yeah, show up.
Hey Vegeta! Hey Vegeta! Hey Vegeta!
Yeah, it's gonna be the two of them that show up, and then Piccolo is gonna put his differences aside to be like, if I want to take over the world, we have to stop them from taking over the world.
Also, Krillin was introduced off screen.
Yes, probably. He's now a side character who shows up because they were friends in high school.
Yeah, they now have Gohan.
No, Gohan's dead, remember? Grandpa Gohan's dead.
Oh no, we have Kid Gohan now.
Oh, yeah.
Son Gohan.
You mean Chi-Chi's already had a baby?
Yeah, we probably would have had that. They would have character dumped at the beginning. And Vegeta is now the Raditz. He's now Goku's brother.
Probably, actually, that would happen. I could see that happening in this. We're brothers! But why do I look like... I'm now picturing a bunch of him running around one planet because how Goku is supposed to be the genetically inferior one. So they all look the same.
Wait, oh my god, that would mean Goku would be Prince. Ah! They would do that though!
They would change that in this.
That doesn't make sense, because then if you start doing that, you've already broken the lore from the first movie, because Ozaru was sent to Earth to destroy it. But if he's a Saiyan, why would Piccolo have him? Why would they send him there to help Piccolo? Your lore in the first movie breaks anything you could ever do because of Ozaru!
I was about to say, I love how you're getting angry about a hypothetical that doesn't even exist.
Because it can't exist because you broke it in the first movie!
Oh, you're not wrong. Oh. Whew. That's hilarious. You okay? Are you still gonna be okay to watch The Boys later?
A fucking cigarette. They can't have a sequel because you broke Goku's character by making Ozaru this minion of Piccolo who got sent to Earth. You break Goku's story for all of the future stories you could have done with him because he's supposed to be a Saiyan from another planet, but now he's Ozaru from another planet. So does that mean Vegeta and Nappa are Ozaru's too? No, they're Saiyans. Goku, you're a Saiyan, not just Ozaru. We sent you here to help Piccolo because he was an ally of the Saiyans. But we also don't know that the Namekians created the Dragon Balls. Oh, Kami's a thing now.
You're just picturing all of this exposition dump conversation.
But that's how it have to go.
Oh, by the way, I created the Dragon Balls. I'm Lord Piccolo. These are my possession. I should have just told you that in the first movie, but I didn't.
Let's go to Namek.
That way we can get 3 wishes.
Freeze! Freeze!
No,
Freeze!
Damn it! Now I want to see this really shitty sci-fi Dragon Ball movie, where they're traveling through space to get to Namek.
Watch GT. It's a shitty space travel Dragon Ball for the first arc. Anyone who's watched GT can back me up on that.
Is GT Boo or Oob era?
Oob.
Does Oob? He's already been turned to Oob at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Boo's there too, though.
Oh, yes. Different version.
See, chat's confirming it. I'm right.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't really remember much Dragon Ball.
If you want to watch it, watch the first part of Dragon Ball GT, and you will be satisfied with your shitty space Dragon Ball.
But I want to see shitty live that's part of the charm of watching these super shitty live actions is seeing how shitty they do live action anime.
Have we seen a good one? Bleach was entertaining, but it wasn't good.
Pokemon.
We gotta count Detective Pikachu.
Maybe.
I mean, but it's not an adaptation of the anime.
It's
a game adaptation.
Yeah, it's an adaptation of the game, which then had an anime made after it to sell the game. So, which is the video game an adaptation of the card game, or was the card game an adaptation of the video
game came first, card game, show, and then movies, and then the live-action Pikachu movie.
And then they remade the first movie with super high-def CG on Netflix.
Yeah, we'll see that at some point, probably.
Probably. All right, are we done talking about Dragon Ball?
Yeah, let's move on. I'm done. I'm done yelling. Let's wrap up quickly.
Yeah, all right. So we're moving on to news and wrap up. We're relaxing now. We're winding down. We're going to talk about the news. And the only real thing I want to talk about, since, I am really terrible with looking up the news for things, is did you guys hear about Chris Evans? Dev's man crush? And how he accidentally...
I have my shield.
Yeah. And how he accidentally leaked his own nudes.
Yeah, I mean, I do love it because on Twitter today, he said, "Now that I have your attention, facepalm emoji, this, like the shrug, vote November 3rd.
Nice. It's a good way to make that work off. Like, it's kind of it's sad, it's kind of funny. Like,
he's playing it on for laughs, and you know what? You got to appreciate him for that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I also felt bad too, because he's come out in the public and saying, like, he has bad anxiety issues. So I could also imagine being like, oh shit, I uploaded the wrong picture and I'm a celebrity. But at the same time, was it just to get people's attention? I'm just kidding.
I feel like once it happens, like a certain point will happen and you'll be like, well, it happened. This is just going to be part of what people know now. I guess it's over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, I guess if you want to, if the internet remembers, it'll always be there. So you could probably find this picture if you want to see, as Ant-Man would put it, America's penis. But,
shut up. Right.
There's that.
Anything else?
Okay. Double checking things really quickly here.
I'll allow two more.
Okay. Says the person who's not the host of the show.
Yeah, but I'm recording the audio today, all right?
One thing I wanted to talk about was, have you seen any bit of Lovecraft Country at all yet?
Not yet. No, we talked about that on Friday, didn't we?
We did a little bit.
I don't have HBO, so.
No worries, I understand. It's a good show. And apparently the one of the actors, which his breakout role is in this Lovecraft Country, his name is Jonathan Majors. He's going to be joining the cast of Ant-Man 3.
Yeah, I heard, as Khan the Conqueror.
Yes.
Is it confirmed 100%? I usually don't bite until I know it's confirmed, but that's the rumor I saw, is that he's being cast as Khan the Conqueror, which is cool because that's a cool ass character and it fits really well into Ant-Man.
It doesn't show that he's been cast as Khan the Conqueror, but it says that he has 100% been cast in the movie.
That's the rumor I heard for the character he'd be playing, which works because he's a time traveler who keeps trying to fix the future so that he's in control. So he keeps fighting the Avengers and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see this because, I mean, cool character, good actor. I want to see it.
Definitely a good actor. Let's see.
Anything else?
One last double check here. Oh, I can't remember. There's a lot going on in the world when it comes to, like, DC heroes. So I know Jason Momoa has started being vocal because his co-star Ray Fisher is talking about Cyborg is talking about some of the bad things that were going on set and during reshoots.
Alleged stuff, but then the investigation apparently pulled up nothing.
And Ray Fisher called out the investigation, being like, "That's not true." And now Jason Momoa, additionally, is like, "Hey, I support Ray Fisher. Serious stuff went down, and we need to talk about it." So
the actress for Iris West also said that. I can't remember her name because she's not actually in the cut we got. She'll be in the Snyder cut. But her role was pretty much cut from the movie. Or was cut from the movie. Not pretty much was. It was cut from the movie. I think she came out as well. So
yeah, it says like Momoa's quote specifically says, "This shit needs to stop and needs to be looked at seriously. Ray Fisher and everyone else who experienced what happened under the watch of Warner Brothers needs a proper investigation." I just think I'm going to censor these a little bit. I think it's just messed up that people released a fake Frosty announcement without my permission to try to distract from Ray Fisher speaking up against the crappy way that we were treated on the Justice League reshoot. He concluded saying, "Seriously, stuff went down. It needed to be an investigation and people need to be held accountable." According to Fisher, during the LA reshoots of the Justice League, Jeff Johns summoned him to his office, belittled and admonished him in his agent's attempts to take grievances up to the proper change of command, and then he made a thinly veiled threat to my career, and says that the behavior can't continue. So yeah, seeing as apparently a lot of things happen to a lot of other people too. And being a young black male actor in Hollywood, he could have his career taken away from him really quickly because, Americans in the past.
the
Hollywood
system is fucked up.
Yeah. So keep that in mind when you're watching these movies. That's also, we did talk about Mulan and the boycotts last week. I'm not sure if we talked about it or if we talked about it on Friday, but it's essentially the same thing, saying as Mulan is being boycotted because the actress supports the government in the Hong Kong protests.
Chinese government.
Yeah. So people are like, "Oh, you support people who are against human rights? Then I guess you are against human rights, and we don't support this movie." So yeah, which is kind of funny. Mulan has relatively flopped in China, which is where they thought it would sell the most. So
That's true.
Nice. Justice, I guess. Depending on who you ask. But yeah, I guess that's it here. I guess we're done.
Yeah, so like I said at the beginning of the show as well, next week is the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy.
Yes.
For adaptation month.
I was debating having that being the last week, only because they're actually decent movies and we might want to end on a high note, but we might end on a high note with Battles. I can't.
We're not ending on a high note. But we need a break from trash.
At least
we have. I mean, what we did Kill Command and I Am Mother, had a 2-week off. Due to reasons. We went over on other shows.
Yay, fires.
And other things. I can't really say, like, I can't jokingly say yay to why I was gone the week before.
No, you can't.
You can. I can't. And
then we did mortality.
the TMNT movie. Yeah, I know. No matter how you put it, it's not going to sound great. Then we did last week. We did TMNT, Michael Bay, duology, and then we did these 2 movies. So we need a break.
We're gonna watch something that's decent.
Yeah, we're gonna watch something enjoyable.
Which I have a really interesting question that I will have to write down so I don't forget it.
Just put a sticky note on your computer.
Yep. I actually literally have my sticky notes right here. So
I just use the browser ones or the
Nope, I've got a pen and everything. I will write down a sticky note and put it on my screen.
Alrighty then.
I don't know why this sticky note's already written on. It has Magic the Gathering cards on it. I'm gonna throw this one away. All right.
Yeah. Follow us on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on
like,
Twitch,
follow, subscribe,
Twitter.
ding, dong.
If this audio version makes it to the audio,
If we're
place
not
that you're
lazy,
choosing, follow us there too.
we should apply for Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start working on it. We've got a recorded version of this.
I mean, I could make tons. Oh well, we're gonna drag on. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
See you next week. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.